Hey guys, welcome to Backwoods Brothers. Another great week. I'm Joel, and that's
Tony.
And we've got a really special guest with us today. We've got Mayor Sean Drinkwine of Estacada.
Woo! Yes! He's the man. I love Joel, how he says that he's on our little show.
I'm on your little show.
He's on the little show.
A big
show
presence. The best mayor in all of Oregon on our little show.
Don't make him sick this early in that game. We got to get him through a whole.
Well, you know what?
Show.
Actually, before we go any further, Brother Joel,
yes.
Look what I bought you.
You brought me
a ruby red squirt. And so I wanted to just hold that because every time, Mayor Sean, every time I give him something, and he loves squirts. So I want you to try something new.
Yes.
Step out of that box.
You already poured me this big old drink, though. So I'll get through the drink, and then I'll have to pee, and then I'll drink this.
Okay, try the ruby red. Awesome.
So I'm going to put that right here.
Yes. Don't forget
ruby red, you walk on the sponsor us at any time.
Speaking of sponsor, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe.
Please.
Don't forget to interact with us tonight.
Yes.
We have Mayor Sean on, and there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to just want to ask. And Joel is manning the station along with our sister Brandy, his wife, and also the best producer in the world, George.
Yep, you got to meet him last week.
Yes, who you met last week.
Yep.
So we're excited to have you with us today.
Okay, so definitely, if you have questions at all, please send them in during the show so that we can hit Mayor Drinkwine here with them, and we can try to embarrass
him. Are we going to hit him?
Yes, we're literally
going
to
probably
beat him with
will
the computer.
Yeah.
I'm
kind of caught in the middle of these guys.
So we got a lot of people saying hi to we got Brandy, we got Linda, we got Kaylin, I think, has said hi on there. So lots of people on there. So hi everybody.
Hi everybody.
So today we're talking about freedoms and the Constitution.
Let freedom ring.
Oh yes, definitely.
Boing. Yeah.
Good
subject.
We want people to be able to have a good understanding of what their freedoms are and what the Constitution is there to guarantee their freedoms and give a little background to it.
Yes.
Sure.
So
always good to go back to the basics.
Yes.
Always.
So Sean, tell me, you had something great to say during the last city council meeting, and I just want to jump right off the board with that one and just kind of give you a chance to kind of reiterate that right now so we can start to show off of it.
Well, sure. You know, my whole purpose in the last city council meeting was to let people know that I am not here to take away your rights as Americans. In fact, I would hope to encourage you to have more of them. So my whole purpose in this last meeting was to let people know I don't stand for vaccine mandates. I didn't stand for face coverings. I don't stand for putting your children in school for 9 hours with a mask on. And people thought that was kind of outside the box. How could I? But I think what we're really looking at here, and I think this is what we should all be paying attention to, is our rights as Americans. You know, that freedom to decide for ourselves what we want to do.
Definitely. And I mean, that's a good place to come from. And I think every leader should be coming from that point where we're here to protect the freedoms, not to impose our will onto somebody. So
exactly.
And we're elected to represent the people. And I don't think anyone else ever starts off saying, hey, I want to be dictated to.
That's it. I think the evolution of politics as a whole has changed so much. I mean, the politicians are more worried about the dollar in their pocket than the actual needs of the citizens. And I think we have to change. Somewhere it has to change.
Of course. And that really does start. It starts with, you know, not just the politicians that sit in your local area, but it works its way up from there. And you do, really, it's, you know, you can say what you want to those politicians, but unless they're actually listening, it really doesn't do a whole lot. You have to really show the pressure and the votes.
That's right.
And you have to be very particular about being involved and understand who you're voting for. You know, learn about the candidate, learn about the options, and go from there. So
Mayor Drinkwine talked about the dollar in the pockets. I think sometimes that is what drives a skewed view, is the dollar in their pockets. You don't get paid.
No, I do not get paid, and I'm pretty happy with that. You know, I don't think I'd do this job if I did get paid, because you know, when I got into politics as a whole, I wanted to change the way the political scene is. You know, I wanted us to go back to that all-American politician who, we were talking about it earlier. You know, stump politicians where they get on a stump and they tell you what they're going to try to accomplish, and they do as much of that as they possibly can, and not once do they make a cent. That's true political help there. That's the kind of political person that you want to see, one that's out there for the people, by the people.
But you're not bound by the people.
And of the people.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
the people.
of the people.
And I'm not bound by the people, but
Yeah.
at the same time, that is my purpose. That is why I'm here. And that's what I want some of these politicians to get back to. Instead of worrying so much about what that position pays, get back to the reality of why we're here.
Yes.
You know, we're losing ground here. I mean, every day more freedoms are being stripped. When do we, as citizens, say, "Hey, enough"?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Enough.
We have comments flying in already, like crazy comments coming in quickly. So first one says, Scott Kaiser, by the way, said ouch for being the best mayor, which we're obviously really skewed in this area. We think that...
Now, see, I miss Scott, so he's not here to sit with me, and he's perfect for this show. We
Actually,
could have had him on there.
I have to definitely say I was the one that said that, Scott. But we have lots of great mayors, you know.
That's
so
right.
it's you're always the best when you come on the show.
I
you know that, right? So if you come on the show,
my favorite. So.
Yeah.
you know, and I have
you're
a
my
favorite
second
too.
favorite there, Scott.
Yeah.
I want to be on. You know.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I miss Scott.
If
Right.
your mayor in your town is not your favorite, there's something wrong.
Well, I have to
That's
say
it.
this. I love Mayor Drinkwine. He is awesome, and he's my mayor. But I got to tell you this, too. If you come on the show, you might be my... I'm not going to talk about that. Never mind. Let's go ahead.
And Scott, just the invitation's always open.
Always open.
Well, you know, Scott, just so you know, it took me a lot of money and a lot of time to get these two to say that. But,
Checks in the mail.
you know, could you picture these guys in cheerleading outfits? Yeah.
You
I
probably already did that.
You don't want to picture
I
that.
think it. So real fast though, hey guys, just in case you don't know Scott Kaiser, he's the mayor of Malala. So good
Yeah.
man, isn't he?
Yes,
So we want to
he is
give
Mayor
him
Scott
props
Kaiser.
right there. Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Awesome. For the people.
One of the questions that came in: who were your role models when you're growing up?
Yeah, that's a question. You know, role models. Well, believe it or not, I'm a person who likes a good speaker, a person who I see as being well worded, and I have to say, as a figure that you remember in history, Martin Luther King. There was a man who could speak. All right? I don't care who the person was. It's the way he spoke that captured you. You felt his energy. You felt what he was about, and you knew what he was telling you was true.
I mean,
Right?
even today, the "I Have a Dream" speech echoes today. I mean, single.
How much did we
speech-
hear that? When the first landing on the moon.
Yeah.
That was a perfect example. Neil Armstrong spoke to that. Another person that captured you for the instant. That's the kind of people that you set yourself behind. In my past, Kennedy. Kennedy was another good example. The man could speak. And I think if you look at history and the things that you remember the most, it's because of the way they spoke to you on that day. Like you were the only thing they were talking to. And you felt it in your heart and you felt it in your mind. And you said, hey, I want to be a part of that. And that's kind of my idols, because that's the kind of person that when I'm here doing the work that I'm doing, I'd hope I'd be. You know? That I hope I would set that same example.
I think I speak with Joel because we talked about you. And we've been accused of being bootlickers, and so make sure you have good boots on, because I don't want to lick dirty boots. But one thing you did say, or a couple things you did say, you are very personable when you speak. It is like you're the only person in the room. You're what I call a schlick. You're very slick with what you say. You're very intentional with what you say. You choose when you say it, and so that defines you as a really, really, really good communicator.
Well,
And
if you'll notice, I never use a speech. I never write a speech before I give it, because that ruins exactly what I'm trying to do. If you know anything about speeches are usually written for you, or you're writing to cover something, and you're really not letting yourself out there. I think by putting myself out there, even if I occasionally misspeak or miss a word or not say the proper word for the meaning, it's the idea that I'm out there giving you exactly the way I feel, and there's nothing in between that is sabotaging that. You're
raw.
getting who I am as a person.
raw.
Your hands speak.
Exactly.
They do.
Exactly. And I think that's what the people see.
Yes.
I mean, honesty, integrity, that's what you want.
Exactly. Basically, it's raw. You want a raw mayor, because then you can feel like you can trust him.
That's right.
You can connect with them.
Well, like I say to everybody that I meet, I said, your mayors are your last line of defense because realistically, they don't get paid. They're about the people, and they're putting your words out there. They're for you. They are the people's politician.
No,
So,
Mayor, I said you speak with your hands. What do your hands actually do during the week? What does your hands actually do with nonprofits in town? What does your hands actually do for the community? I think that's a really good thing to put out there.
well, yeah, I'm a hands-on mayor. You can put me on a shovel, you can put me on a broom, you can tell me to clean the toilet if that's what it takes.
Really good at holding a Coke.
I'm really good at holding a Coke. But I think behind all that is really just a man who cares about the people in his community. I will always be there for everyone,
straight.
and I don't set myself apart from any of them.
Yeah,
Ever.
yeah,
So,
I am the same all the way down the line.
yeah.
okay, we got a couple questions from some viewers. So the first one was, Mayor Drinkwine, what is your favorite thing about Estacada, and what would you like to improve?
Oh God, there's always something to improve for the betterment of Estacada. I'm not going to even go there, but I have to say, waking up every morning and going downtown Estacada and looking what this city is and the people in it, and watching how things kind of just go by every day, you can depend on it. The sun comes up, the sun goes down, the moon comes up, the moon goes down, but the people will always be the same. You can set your watch by it. That's a feeling that I love. When I get up, I know my city's going to be clean. It's going to be safe. It's going to be hospitable. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be the place you want to go to. That is my everyday.
Yeah, I mean, I think during an interview, which we can pop back up at a later time, but an interview you actually spoke on during that time that you get up and you actually take a drive around the city every day.
I do.
To see what's happening in the city.
I do. I take a drive around. I see, people doing their yards and kids walking to school and a new house being built over here or something. It's that feeling that it's that safety. It's that knowing that you can drive around your city and see, the hustle and bustle of the citizens of your city and know that they're all happy to be here, that they're a part of something wonderful. That's my whole goal. When I'm all said and done with this and somebody votes me out or somebody takes my place, I hope that they wake up every morning with that same feeling.
Me too. That's what you want in the mayor, like I said.
I love what you said about if someone votes me out. You didn't say you're leaving. You
No.
didn't say you're going anywhere.
No.
So that is a mayor that is committed
Yep.
to the cause. Let me ask you a quick question. We were on our way back from Portland, and Portland is not that far from Estacada. I finally learned.
Not at all.
And you talked about new houses being built,
Yeah.
and our community is growing, and it's growing. It's becoming more and more diverse. I've known you as a person that is consistent right across the board, no matter who you talk to.
No.
How would you mayor a diversified city?
Diversified the city.
How would you
As a whole.
mayor a diversified city of all people?
Well, I don't see a difference in people. So I think you're starting that conversation off. If I don't see a difference, then I really don't need to diversify anything, right? Because we're all the same. We're all the same purpose. But at the end of the day, it's about our city as a whole. And it's that feeling that we just talked about that, right? I think everybody in it is the same. There is no difference. So when we say we need all these committees and I sit up there as the mayor and I'm thinking we have all these committees to do things, right? But at the end of each day, we are all the same. And we all get along. And there is no separation in my city. Not that I've seen. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe you guys have seen something I haven't seen. But when I walk down that street that I told you about earlier, I don't see people, on one side or people on the other side. I see us all one. All one going forward.
Yeah, I'll let Joel speak to that.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the way you can't be looking at things as far as people that are different race or from different ethnic backgrounds or different things like that. You got to look at them all as single people because that's how you actually can have a unification amongst people. And I want to be very clear: unification is not uniformity.
No.
Unifying
That's
is
very well put.
unifying
That's
is
very well put.
understanding. Unifying is understanding other people's differences and being willing to work and accept them, giving people the free choice, giving people to move along in their own lives, but finding that common ground.
Yeah.
uniformity is not unification. That's wrong from the beginning. And anyone who thinks that unification and uniformity are the same, they need to look up the dictionary because it's not the same thing.
One thing I know about you is not just you is not accepting them. You actually, and I know this about you, Joel, and I know this about you, Mayor, is you embrace them. You embrace them. You don't just accept them. That's a difference, but you embrace the differences. And like you so eloquently put, what's the difference?
Yeah.
So I knew I can ask you that question and not get a rehearsed answer.
Oh no, not. I mean, it's like osmosis, right? You know.
Yeah.
I'm in this city. I absorb everything in it.
Yeah.
There is no difference.
Yeah.
We are all one, right?
Yeah.
And that seems to be the mantra.
Yeah.
I think if we stopped worrying so much about what the other person thinks and started thinking, hey, maybe everybody's on the same page. Maybe we don't have to try so hard to fix something that isn't there. Right?
Speaking about
Chasing ghosts.
Speaking of what the other person thinks, like I said, we got lots of comments coming, and we're trying to keep up with them. So first one is, I'm gonna actually give you a couple of them so you can kind of run down a few answers here. First one, there's actually been a couple that are talking about schools, and one of them is, what's the difference between kids are out there playing basketball, passing things around on the playground, and they go inside, then you shove a mask on them. I mean, what's the response to that one? And the second thing would be, one of our viewers wants to know, when are we going to get some good restaurants in town? With the growth, we have not enough choices in the restaurants and stores. There are some really good restaurants here, but, there's some new ones would be kind of cool.
I think to answer the first one with the kids on the playground, you know what? There isn't any difference. I think your kids are just as safe on that playground as they are in that school, and I don't think that mask is going to make any difference.
Well, scientifically,
scientifically, it's all over the board. If I go there, I'd be here all night, right? Yet, they have not proven to me that any of this science is real. Nothing. There's no figures, no numbers, no nothing. Every time you ask for it, they can't give it to you. I'm at wit's end. I like to consider myself well-read. I read everything. Every morning I get up, I'm on the news channels, I'm at everything. So when that day starts, I've got a pretty good grasp of what's going on out there. I don't stick to just one channel. I'm all over that thing. And I can honestly tell you, I'm not seeing the proof. I'm just not. Yes. And as far as restaurants go, really quick, I agree. We need some different restaurants to go with what we have right now. But that's a work in progress. I think it's coming. I think with the amount of people that have moved into our area and the new young couples that I see out there, it's only a matter of time before these things spring up. People have got new ideas, great things to fit in our city, and I see it happening. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's hit a couple more on here. We got. Oh, by the way, you got a comment. You cook a mean hot dog, apparently.
Oh, there you go. A mean hot dog.
I know that's
I hope when I go out, they hand me a plaque that says he cooked a mean hot dog.
Yes.
Because I'm going to put that one
a
out.
mean hot dog.
It's going on your tombstone.
I'm going to use that one.
Thank you for standing for all Estacada residents, not just the convenient population. You see the community as a whole.
Yeah.
That's a comment.
That's good.
Our mayor is awesome, and it would be great to see some new restaurants.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The city is growing faster than infrastructure can handle. I agree.
I agree. We're all on the same page there.
Yes, I think it's been stated pretty openly about that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone actually made a comment about this one. Our license plate of COVID 661.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a gift from somebody to the show.
Oh, I know who that was.
Yes, and
Yes.
So we can't change the last one because though COVID 666 would be hilarious.
Yeah.
That would be.
It would be COVID hell. Let's see, COVID deaths up and flu is disappearing. Yes, and they're trying to say, it's because you're using masks, but I'm sorry,
That doesn't hold water.
Yeah, it doesn't hold water. So, and what I'm trying to do right now is I'm actually trying to look up. I found the other day the actual COVID death rates based on age, and so I can share those. But I'm going to pass this back over to you, Tony, real quick, while I look those up.
Well, you were talking about the Constitution and let freedom ring, and I posted a Facebook post this morning. I used to be a former pastor, and I would actually, I'm going to read it and get your opinion on it.
Sure.
And so that's what I'm going to do right here. So it says this, and I don't read very many Facebook posts, so don't go to my Facebook post because I don't write very much.
We won't hold it.
But here it is, folks. So it says this, and it has a little bit of background because my wife just took the vaccine, and it wasn't necessarily by choice, but she needed to do it because I took it first. I wanted to see how she would respond, or she would see how I would respond. And she responded in a worse way than I did. And it made me even more so after hearing several stories in my office about people literally crying in the waiting room because they are feeling like they have no other choice but to take vaccines. Now, I know vaccines have been going on for a lifetime, but there's two differences here. One is the vaccine has been vetted. It's been rolled out pretty fast. Number two, vaccine mandates require in some states now vaccine cards, and I've never been carded because I've never been carded at a grocery store, or I've never been carded at a movie theater. So very different day that we're in. So I'm very much for freedom of choice. And I said to all, in all my 20 years of pastoral ministry, I've never been able to, nor would I, manipulate a congregation into making a choice for Jesus, even though I would like for that to happen. My calling and passion was simply to inspire and to convince. Now, I'll stop there. Inspire, convince me why I need to take this.
Sure.
It was a Spirit of God's job to convict and to convert. Left to human desires, I would have wanted that to happen or try to manipulate it only with bitter results. And then this is what I say here. That's why freedom of choice is so essential. I'm not anti-vaccine, but I'm for freedom of choice. One can choose to welcome a savior into their hearts, just like one can welcome a vaccine into their bodies. And so I stand with you, and what you said inspired that at the last meeting that you're involved in every other week, which I won't mention. But you spoke pretty clearly to the freedom of choice.
I thought it was pretty clear, and that's really what it's really all about. And you just brought it right back to why this show is out tonight. We're talking about freedom and what freedom does for everybody. And I think the more we allow these freedoms to be stripped, and I've talked about this, I just think we're getting ourselves in a situation which, plainly, I think is dangerous. I think it's dangerous for our country. And I think there comes a limit to everything, and we have to stop. And we have to say, hey, enough's enough. We need to stand up. We need to say, we're not going to do this. We are free people to make those choices, whether it be a vaccine, I don't care what it is. The whole purpose in freedom is freedom. So therefore, let's get our freedom back.
Mayor Drinkwine, wasn't it freedom of choice that got you into office in the first place?
It was.
What if we
it was
just
freedom of choice for everybody
mandated-
to decide who to vote for.
Yes. What if we just mandated you into office?
That's right.
How would people feel?
Well, I wouldn't
feel that their
good
rights
about
were
that.
infringed on. And would you feel right about it? No.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't take the office.
Yes.
Exactly. It's got to be a consensus of the people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read the first line of the Constitution.
Gotcha.
Okay. And it goes, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, insecure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do obtain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." Does it say we, the president?
No.
Does it say we, the Congress?
No.
Does it say we, the governor?
No.
Does it say we, anything in the government?
No.
It says what? We the people, right?
Yes.
That's right.
We the people. So therefore, we, as in the people of the United States, as in a conglomerate together, formed this Constitution, and therefore formed and have say over the government. The government works for the people. They don't have authority over us. We have authority over the government. And
That's right.
There's a misconception there. The government did not.
A big misconception.
Yes.
The government did not form us. So, using that basis, I want to take us into the Bill of Rights real quick.
Okay.
The Bill of Rights, it talks about, you got the First Amendment, talks about freedom of speech and freedom of religion, and it goes down there, but there's actually a really not well-known one. It gets a little bit further down the list. And so that is the Ninth Amendment of the Bill of Rights. And the reason why this is so important for everybody to know is because the Ninth Amendment says, the powers not delegated, sorry, I read that wrong. Here's the enumeration and the Constitution of certain rights. Let me try it again. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. So what that's saying is the rights that are identified in the Constitution the people are not limited by those rights. The people own all the rights, period. And the rights identified in the Constitution are specifically supposed to be protected by the government, and the government is limited to those identified in the Constitution. But all other rights not identified in the Constitution are owned by the people, such as the right to privacy, the right to freedom, the right to make our own choices. That is what that says. This is actually the same amendment that was used to support and actually pass on the Roe v. Wade, which is the right for women to choose.
Absolutely.
That's right. We visited
Yes.
this before.
Exactly.
That argument's been held.
Yes.
We, the people, have the right to choose. A mandate is not constitutional
That's right.
based upon that amendment alone. Now, people try to identify it any way you want, but when you actually look at what the actual meaning is, you can't get around what is written in ink.
Yep.
It's simply there. It's saying that the government does not have any more rights other than what's limited by the Constitution.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
we, the people, get to tell them what to do. So, and when they start stepping outside of that, it's up to us, as in the people, to put them back in line, either through voting or through, and in some cases, non-compliance. Because if it's not a constitutionally supported
That's right.
mandate, then therefore it's not a legal law. So therefore, non-compliance is the way to get around that sometimes.
Well, it's kind of where government ends and the people begin.
Exactly.
It's time to get back to it. Our country has changed so much in such a short amount of time. We're a very young country. We all know that. So to see what is happening right now in our time, I remember when I was growing up, I said, well, when I get there, I'm going to make these changes. It's going to be totally different. Well, you know what? I'm here. And it's not any different. In fact, it's worse than it's ever been.
Yeah.
So I think it's time that we all sat down as a people and said, hey, we're done. We're done. We're going to clean this up. We made it. Let's clean it up.
But I wonder, Mayor, that when you said, when I get here, you didn't expect you were going to lead through a pandemic, though.
Oh, no.
I mean, that was
never,
way off your radar.
Never in a million years when I thought a pandemic,
Or
an ice storm, a fire. You name it.
Yes. There's quite a few unprecedented things
That's
No,
more than a year.
that have happened, you know.
If I was reading scripture, I think this
Right.
would be the apocalypse.
Right here. Right here.
Are we living in Revelations?
Yeah.
No,
We're
Revelations.
I almost feel like we're there, but that's a sad state of affairs. But,
Right.
What I'm really concerned with is our children. Our children are being raised in this right now, and it's the example that we set at this point and the direction we go in that's going to make all the difference in the world for them.
Well, they're using our kids to basically this mask thing is nothing more. Honestly, it's not about protecting the kids.
Yeah.
Because the science and the statistics from the CDC website itself does not support their actions. 35 states in the country are fully open.
Yes.
No problems.
Yeah.
They are working to indoctrinate our kids in our schools here by getting them to be more compliant. So I want to read some statistics real quick to understand what the violation of the freedoms are and why noncompliance is so important. And that includes by schools and by cities to choose what they can and can't to choose to stand against some of those.
Okay.
But okay. So the total deaths in the United States from COVID, this includes all deaths involving COVID-19. This includes all the other stuff that happens along with flus and pneumonias and so on. So this is just for all ages across the entire country. 672,221. 672,021.
Yeah.
That's since it first started in 2020.
Okay.
I'd like to give you a chance to guess the number of deaths involving COVID-19 for kids ages 0 to 17.
Boy, that'd be a tough guess.
That would be a very
I
tough
want you to take a guess at it. So.
All right. Well, I'm gonna
He's
let
not
you guess
looking at.
first.
He's not looking at the Backwoods.
I'm
He's
looking
looking
at
at
both
you.
of you.
He's looking at Mayor.
I'm gonna put that at about a few thousand, maybe.
Okay, what's your thoughts there, Tony?
I'm gonna err on the side of a few thousand as well.
464.
Well, then we're not even in the hundreds.
Boy,
Yeah,
I look stupid.
Well,
Well,
there we
I'm
go.
saying,
Me too.
that's
I
the
followed
thing.
you.
That's what they want you to believe.
Yes.
That your kids are actually in danger of COVID, where the fact is they are not. It's an absolute lie. It's an absolute lie.
Do you have a comparison as to
By the way,
the year before COVID actually took hold?
This I don't have that, but I can tell you deaths involving just pneumonia, not COVID, but just pneumonia, 966.
Real fast. State your source.
Oh, I'm sorry, CDC.
CDC.
I'm getting these numbers. These are live CDC numbers as of today.
Gotcha.
So all deaths involving influenza, not COVID, just influenza, 188. Deaths involving COVID and pneumonia, 110. Deaths from all causes, That includes all causes, including the 464 from COVID, but that includes like everything, every kid that's died in the U.S.
Sure.
56,781. So let me give you a percentage real quick of kids that have died from COVID in the U.S. Since COVID started. This is all the entire time. Okay. It's too big for the number is so small that it's 6 places, almost 7 places to the right of the zero.
Did it give you a percentage rate?
That's what I was trying to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It didn't give me a percentage rate because
It's so big.
It's so
small.
minute compared to the
Minute.
population.
Yeah.
it gives me a bunch of numbers in a need.
Big,
So,
small.
Yeah, it's absolutely just micro.
You know, and two, you know, we haven't even begun to get into the mental health issue here. Our children are facing, I mean, they're in mass all day long, sweating, tired, hot. That's got to wear on them.
Yeah.
That's got to wear on them.
Yeah.
I mean, I see these kids coming up the hill, you know, back from school and stuff, and they look worn out, and they look tired.
Yeah.
And you know, and then that's the part that I'm really fearing. I know that suicide rates are up. I don't know if you've got those statistics.
Absolutely.
But I've heard
I'm
that
assuming that has to
it's
do with
quite
the
an extreme.
all deaths. I'm assuming goes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if the CDC has something about suicide.
Check
but
about the suicide.
I think they deal with only with illnesses. So.
Yeah, I had those last week, but you're talking about kids that aren't able to read faces,
Sure, they can't
and
process.
90% of our sensory input is visual, except mine.
Yeah.
But you get those, and you're getting kids who are becoming a little bit more agoraphobic, more antisocial, more depressed, a lot of anxiety happening.
Yep.
There's a lot of even so much as domestic violence in the home that's increased, alcoholism, and
hopelessness.
hopelessness.
I mean, these kids, what do they have to look forward to? If I'm sitting in a classroom and I'm looking at all my friends and the teacher and everything, I can't see if they're smiling or angry. I'm hearing all these things out there, and you know, I'm sweating, and I'm thinking to myself, where does that put us?
Yeah. Hey, it looks like we're getting to the end of our first segment, but I was going to say with the mental health aspect of that, I'm so glad to have a mayor that actually is mindful of mental health.
Oh, you've got to have it.
By the way.
You've got to have it.
When we come back, I want to roll us back into the Constitution piece because I got a special surprise when it comes down to that for the show here.
Awesome.
Great.
You guys, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Continue. Get some friends. I think Joel actually challenged you last week to have some friends come on. So this is your break to have them come on. We want more interaction. So we love you. We'll see you in 5 minutes.
Hi everybody, I'm Brandy with Backwoods Wives, and this is a Backwoods Minute. The moments you think you can't are opportunities to prove that you can. When you see something that's in your way that's telling you you can't do it, look for a way that you can do it. A good example in my life would be with my illness. I have lupus, which is a pretty severe illness. It could mean a lot of things. It could be fatal. I've been told my whole life I can't do things. When I was a kid, they told me I would never make it to my teenage years. Once I made it to my teenage years, they told me I wouldn't make it out of my teenage years without being in a wheelchair permanently. As an adult, I was told that I'm lucky to be alive, I'm lucky to be walking. I'm still walking with a cane, but I'm still walking. I found ways to show the world that even though you're telling me I can't do this, I'm going to show you that I can. A lot of people would say that somebody in my position and my condition wouldn't be able to do work, which I don't work in a job that pays me, but I am a president of a nonprofit organization. I work every day. I've found ways to take what I'm told I can't do and turn it into, I'm going to show you that I can. And I think that's something super cool that I've been able to do because I had the right support system in my life. I have God as my foundation, who's always been there to be my cheerleader, basically. And I found the right people to surround myself with. People that will support me in everything I do. They cheer me on, and they don't wrap my life in negative. They wrap my life in positive. And the more positivity you have around you, the more love you have around you, the more you can do. If you think of your world as a big obstacle, then it's going to be a big obstacle. If you think of your world as open doors, then there will be open doors. It's all about what you perceive it as and what you're going to look at it as. And that's, I think, the most important thing is that you can change your world with your perception of it. You can change how you react to things. And that's that. Thanks for taking a minute. We'll see you next time.
Let freedom ring, you guys. Welcome back. We have Mayor Sean Drinkwine on of Estacada, and we're excited to have him on. And our theme today is talking about the Constitution, freedom, something that we know is passionate to all of our hearts, but especially Mayor. So we're just glad. Brother, take it away.
Oh, yes. So since we're talking about the Constitution, it's such an important piece because we need to understand what our freedoms are and where we come from, what we stand on as a country in order to, I don't want to say exist, but in order to move forward. So I thought, what more important than to actually have an actual copy of the Constitution right here in the studio. So what I got here is it's a replica. I didn't go steal the Constitution.
Isn't there a movie about that?
Yes,
I think we wouldn't be sitting here if you had.
What is that movie? It had Nicolas Cage in it.
National Treasure.
Nicolas Cage. I don't know why I know that because I've never seen it.
I just want to show everybody here, and then I'm gonna actually roll it up and put it on the shelf.
Are you gonna actually do it?
Yeah.
Roll it out. Dun,
There
dun,
you
dun,
go.
dun, dun, dun,
Mayor,
dun,
are you
dun,
going
dun,
on
dun,
with it?
Mayor, now all you need is white hair.
That's.
You need white hair.
Believe me, it's coming fast.
It's coming fast.
So you want to? If you guys can read a really small writing.
Oh my gosh.
But the biggest portion up there is on the top left. We the people of the United States.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have this up in a. We may leave it rolled because it's really delicate. Now that I'm feeling the paper.
Oh yeah, it's real.
I think
It's real thin.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave this rolled and have it up here on a.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Also, what's the Constitution without the Declaration of Independence?
You gotta have that.
That's right.
So,
You know,
yeah.
Joel, there was a time when we used to memorize the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence. There's a time we used to do that. Do we still do that in schools now?
I think the Bill of Rights is more important to memorize than it is the actual Constitution. The whole thing. If you can memorize
But
the whole
do we
Constitution,
still have that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know.
yeah,
I
that's a
remember
good
learning
question.
Because
it.
most
That's a
people
good
don't really,
question.
I'd be really curious as to how many people actually know what the Bill of Rights are and what some of those freedoms, what some of those things actually, those rights are, and how they pertain to the Constitution.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember with Mama. Mama used to make me. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish
right.
justice, to ensure domestic tranquility, and that's all I could say.
That's right.
But I used to memorize. I'm like, Mom, are you making me do this?
That's right. I remember when that was important in schools.
It was important in
Yeah,
schools.
yeah. I don't think it is so much anymore with everything that's changing, but
Yeah.
it definitely was pronounced more when we were younger.
Yes. Yes. 47.
That's right.
I'm getting
That's
old.
Right. 47.
Okay.
Just a number. Just a number.
So we got, I think, in Congress here. This is the Declaration of Independence. We can roll it out again, but I think they kind of got the idea from the last one. But yeah, it's all handwritten here, nice. It's we kind of an older style paper, so we're gonna have this up here in the.
I think that'll go
So the
good with
Declaration-
the decor here.
The
You know what?
Declaration is up there on
I
the
think it
shelf.
says a lot.
Just without throwing off the topic too much, but Joel, brother, why is this up here in the first place?
So this up here is it's technically it's 14 beers, but originally it was 13 beers, and it's there to symbolize a memorial to the 13 fallen in Afghanistan and all those others that have fallen and given life, not just in the war on terrorism, but in support of our country and what we stand for in that Constitution right there.
Yeah.
14th was added to also stand for all law enforcement that have fallen in line of duty and given that sacrifice for the people that they're protecting.
Yeah.
And coming real soon is going to be actually a snippet from, I think, show 16
Yep, it's all ready to go.
It's all ready to go.
I just I'm going to be releasing it here soon.
of a police officer who encountered a lot of craziness down in Portland and got lit on, and I won't say anything else because you have to watch it.
Yes, so we'll let you. He has a story. It's a heroic story.
Yeah.
It's a great story. He was actually in the riots, right there in the mix of it, and
Yes.
he has a story that is absolutely amazing. So we're gonna put that out, and I'm hoping that if you guys could help us to really push that out there.
Yes.
We want to get this guy's story out there so people understand what it is, because he not only does he define his own heroic story, but he really shows the type of people that we have down there in the serve law enforcement.
This was important because, like Mayor Drinkwine, he didn't want to make a name for himself, so he turned down some really notable people to interview him just because he didn't want his story to become something that was bigger, sensationalized. He wanted it to be raw, so he told us his raw story. So we want to get it out there.
Definitely, and I mean, honestly, that's what people need to understand is that people tend to paint a picture towards civil servants like law enforcement or people that serve their
City.
their city.
Yes, in
like-
communities.
And it's so important to really understand the people that are they're bad politicians. Demonstrate they're bad
Yes,
politicians. They're
sure
people
is.
that have
Sure
personal
is.
agendas and that want nothing but to push their personal agenda and squish on your freedoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a couple of those right here in our own city.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
right.
Yeah.
But we have no bad therapists, so we're good. No, just joking. We do.
But the thing is,
yeah.
to understand there are good politicians, and it's
There are.
important to recognize those. And a good politician is someone that says it's always pushing. Says, what do the people want? Can we send it to the people? Can we find out what the people want?
And that's the core focus.
Can we put it for them to the
Yeah.
vote? Can we find out by querying the people? Let's listen to what they have to say.
Yeah.
What is it they
That's
want?
right.
Anytime that they're trying to dictate versus trying to get the people's feedback and the people's pushback and see what they want,
That's right.
that is the difference. That's how you weigh your politicians.
Yeah.
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 No
One of-
decision is ever made on my side of things without feedback from this community. I pride myself on that. You know, even in the tightest of times when there's no room to even ask anybody, I always manage to get some feedback from this community about what they'd like to see. I don't ever want to say to myself, I made a decision based upon me. I decided this is what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get in there for that reason.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go out the way either. I'm going to make sure that I always ask that question.
Yeah.
What is it you want to see? What is it you want Esticated to be? And how do you want this to happen?
I know a council member who happens to be in our midst who does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He has to get the committee. That's one of the things I love about my best friend, but that's also one of the things that's most annoying in our personal lives because he got to get a committee. But that's a really good thing because he wants to hear the people.
Exactly.
It's all about hearing
Exactly.
the people. So in everything we do, if you have the
Yeah.
option, that's where you should go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have speaking of the people, we have a whole lot of stacked up comments. So we try to get through as quick
Go
as we
for it.
can. One of the ideas that was on here about using an open structure next to Get and Go and turn it into a food cart pod. Well, that's privately owned land, so that's up to the owner. To do that.
That's kind of out of our hands.
Yeah. So it says, please no more sidewalks, but how about painted sidewalks that everyone can use without the constant up and down the driveways cause? That is not only a massive cost, but you can imagine the maintenance on that. And how do you build a sidewalk without the driveway entrances? I'd be really curious to see the kind of design for that.
Well, down at Clackamas, they're doing a lot of that. I don't know if you've
Really?
seen what's going on there. Yeah, if you look, they've got like 3 different shades. They've got a green, they've got a red, and they've got a regular sidewalk.
Really?
All lined up. One's for bikes, one's for people walking, and one's just for general traffic, I think. But it's amazing to me that they were able to accomplish that. Yeah. And what they did is they took out all the trees and they got this thing as wide as a road that's now a walking path up both sides.
Right.
And I was like, wow.
Well, I guess that would be good for us visually impaired folk.
Sure.
Yeah,
so you got to stay away.
Follow the big color.
Yeah, follow the big colors.
You can walk or take off.
Yep, stay on the red. Stay on the red, whatever you do.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what that'd be beneficial, but I mean, just from a
costly
costly side,
yes.
to paint every sidewalk. Maybe something that could be considered for like the main ones, like on Broadway or something.
If we could just light up Estacada, that would be nice.
I think really
getting lights.
Yeah.
And another thing to this question, I mean, we went through the whole safe routes to school. I know everybody knows about that. Making sure that our kids were safe walking to school. In doing so, we cut a lot of bus routes out of that system. And we were talking about this today. Ginseng's being redone. I don't know if any of you had a chance to look up there, but it looks quite nice. But at the same time, 2 blocks in between Ginseng and Shafford have no sidewalks on either side. And the kids were walking in the road.
Yes.
And I was thinking to myself, hey, wait a minute, we missed something here. I think we should be focusing on a little bit more sidewalks just for the safety of our children walking back and forth.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
While you're talking about safety real fast, there's been an uptick of crime in our community. What's your take on that?
Well, I looked into that to the best of my ability, which is, limited. I'm not a police officer, and I don't have the same access they do, but I've talked to a lot of people, and, a lot of the crime we're seeing is due to growth. Everybody knows growth brings some of the crime that you're seeing, but a lot of it's coming from other areas, too, I've been hearing. That it's not necessarily Estacada as a whole. We're seeing it from other cities that are growing just as fast.
Yes.
You have Sandy on one side, you have Malala, you have Portland. People are coming to Estacada because, well, it is a beautiful place. And criminals see it too. They're like, God, that's a really beautiful
They have eyes
town.
too.
I think I'm going to go there and rob somebody.
Yeah. I don't think they got the point with the fact is half the city came out when there's threats to it. If they don't realize half the people in the city or more own the guns.
Sure.
And they know how to use them. So
And this last bout we had, a lot of it, people need to understand, there was a lot of vehicles that were unlocked. And I know, we hate to think that we live here in Estacada and we actually have to lock our vehicle.
Right.
What are you talking about? When I
Yes.
first moved here, I never locked my vehicle.
Yeah.
But I have a tendency now to lock it on an average. But,
I've grown up in a small town for most of my life, and I lock my vehicles just to have it.
yeah.
Well, speaking of that, there's been a lot of talk about people setting up community watches that not just take to the Facebook posts, but they also are out on the street.
I encourage neighborhoods to be out and moving, and if they see crime, to call it in.
But didn't we try a community watch? Neighborhood
watch? We didn't. We
have several neighborhood watches in place that are already signed in, but have never been instituted. That have never, had any follow through.
Yes.
I mean, I've got one in my neighborhood up in Mountain View. It's been there forever. It's still on the books, but nobody has taken the charge to actually get it up and running again.
Yeah.
That's something we may, think about looking at, is getting with our police services and saying, hey, how do we institute these? How do we get these back on track so that we have more eyes?
Well, so I know that the Estacada Community Watch, they made an attempt to try to put together some sort of community funded and controlled kind of patrol service that they could use in order to run through the town.
Sure.
There was a lot of complaining about who's going to be responsible for them, and I mean, way whiny fears. I mean, things way out there. And so, when everything was looked into from that group, they decided that in the end, it was just going to be too costly to run something like that, with the insurance being thousands of dollars a month, the training and thousands more, and we're talking, I think it was like $50,000 to $100,000 a year to run something where you could just, having a patrol around the city simply for the purpose of if you see an issue, call it in.
Yeah.
And that's because people get too whiny about it. They're part of the hurt feelings brigade, and they're
Yes.
You can understand a little bit of the fear. I mean, everybody always anybody in authority, that is out there and they may or may not have a gun, puts a little fear in people. Okay, I get that.
Here's the thing is though, there literally are hundreds, or in this case probably thousands in our city that own weapons, and a lot of them are concealed carriers, and they carry guns every day.
I count on that.
Yeah, but that's the
I
thing
count on it too.
So
we have a very safe community.
That's what I'm talking about. People carry them no matter what, and they're patrolling around.
I get you.
So by organizing a group with some sort of control and rules on there and some insurance behind it, puts more of that on there. But they wanted so much more. The group, from what I understand, was not trying to operate as a police department, but that's what they were being pushed into. So they just said, you know what, they're not going to do it. And so now the community's complaining, and if they had gotten those in place, that probably would have helped.
And I think we're going to have that discussion. We're going to have a discussion of increasing our police presence in Estacada. As we know, with the growth, that's just common for that to happen. And we're going to have to sit down and make those tough choices of who we're going to put where and how many we're going to have and what that looks like. So this is something we're definitely going to be talking about.
Yeah. But right now, it's the old adage of see something, say something.
Yeah,
exactly.
I heard you say that, Joel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just in your neighborhood, just be out moving around. And if you see something abnormal, call it in. It's not. I'm not saying go tackle somebody and beat them down. No.
Caught me in mid-drink.
If you're concerned
Don't tackle.
if you're concerned about something, just simply call the police.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let them do their job.
Yeah.
When you get more calls in of legitimate calls, I'll be clear about that. When you get legitimate calls in about suspicious activity, crime, things like that, they use those statistics to determine where they have to place their officers. So if they see a higher amount rising in Estacada, they're going to put more of the roving officers out in the area, as they described it.
Yeah.
So, but granted, now the city of Estacada only has, according to the contract, is for a limited amount of officers for a limited amount of time throughout the city. As you said, that's something that the council will be talking about at a later date. So, we can't really discuss that here. But as far as what the county and what the sheriff has said is that they look at those statistics and they want people to call it in because they have to know where they need to put their officers at. If they have an increase, that's where they try to put the officers to patrol during those times and those locations.
Right.
Yeah.
Joel, we were talking about vulnerable populations in the area of COVID and children.
Yes. So, we had talked about that. And so, I've been trying to get down. There's a whole lot of stuff in here. I'm going to try to run through a couple more comments and we'll get to that real quick.
Okay.
So this is the comment. The council needs to get their priorities straight. Cape Brown doesn't like Estacada, and I feel we have big bullseye on us because we are different and not having the same respect as other towns. I agree that she definitely does not treat Estacada in Clackamas County fairly, as well as most in the East County, east part of the state. Just traveled the U.S. and only 4 states still have mandates: Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, and New York. Okay, so I guess we're down to. The last thing I looked up online was 35, but now we're down. That puts us at 46 open states.
46 open states.
And if it's who I think it is, I believe this person just traveled literally to almost every state in the entire country.
Absolutely, I think
I guess Nevada does too. So that actually, there's a little bit of a flex in there, some information. To see, I'm trying to find. There's a specific one that we wanted to address. How many dead kids are okay for you people? That was a comment there, and so I'm going to be very clear.
Wait. Did she say you people?
She said you people.
She said you people. Hey!
Yes. Quote unquote. How many dead kids are okay for you people? Well, let me be very clear about this.
Let's be clear about that.
No dead kids are okay, but that does not justify to hide in fear.
Yeah.
And to push us into, our homes and hiding and hoping that, the world's just going to pass us by. Yes, things happen. People do die, and it sucks. And we hate the fact that young ones go.
Mm-hmm.
They get sick from pneumonia. They get sick from the flu. It really sucks. It's horrible. But we can't destroy the rest of our kids' lives in fear of something that has a 7 places to the right of a decimal point.
Sorry, I gotta fix it. She said you guys, not you people.
No, hey, I was just
Okay.
joking, you guys. That's okay. You're good.
Yeah. Okay. So we want to make a correction to that. It was a typo that was passed off to us.
It's all good.
How
you
many
guys.
dead kids are okay for you guys?
Yeah.
That was the
You
actual
guys.
quote.
Yeah.
There's a retraction and a correction to that. Thank you.
Did you say you people?
That's what I read.
And just a little snippet before we go off here.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think any child's death is acceptable. So don't get me wrong here. But you know what? I'm all over Estacada. And we have about 4,200 people living here now with the new census. And I have not heard of one child dying from COVID.
Right.
So ask yourself the averages here. And ask yourself if what you think is out there, what is really happening, is happening.
Yeah.
So that's the question you should be asking. Not whether we think it's acceptable.
Exactly.
Right. Well, let me answer as a parent. You guys have given some statistical data. And as a parent of a child who's, and you're a parent too, Joel, as well, but, and you are too, but, of children attending our schools, I right now am more concerned about the vaccine. I'll tell you, after my wife had some residual symptomology coming from that, I'm really concerned about my daughter there, health-wise in that area. But however, with that being said, yeah, like these two gentlemen said, every life matters, no matter the age. But where is the statistical data here that a kid is dying from COVID? Heaven forbid.
Yeah.
So there's a couple. We couldn't get everybody's comments because we are short in time, and we're wrapping up. We have about 4 minutes left in the show.
Wow.
Yes, I know. It kind of goes really quick.
Yeah.
Quick thing. Someone said that their VEERS is self-reporting and trying to say it's not legitimate. So I want to be very clear. VEERS is the government's reporting site for vaccine, basically side effects. It goes there, and those are usually reported from the doctors.
Yeah.
So when there's a side effect identified, it's sent up from there. Most people do not report the side effects. About 99% of people, they say, don't report the side effects.
Sure.
So the numbers in there are legitimate, real ones identified as side effects. It's not it is self-reporting, but it's self-reporting in the era of good, meaning that the numbers are probably higher than what you see.
Yes.
Because most people don't report them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But then it's not like it's boosted numbers from people that are reporting whatever they want on there. It's a government-based website. It's what they've used before COVID. It's what they've used for decades.
Yeah.
And so COVID has shown more side effects by itself, just COVID by itself, and more deaths than all the other vaccines.
COVID vaccine.
Yeah, the COVID vaccines, the COVID vaccine, all of them, by the way, have independently have shown more side effects than all the other vaccines side effects combined for the last 10 years,
My point
including
proven.
deaths as well.
And that's why I'm a little bit skittish.
Hesitant. Yeah.
So yeah, and that's based upon the VEERS, which is the I don't remember what it's called, but it's like the vaccine something.
But we're not anti-vax.
No.
Yeah,
That's not what
So-
this is
we're not
about.
trying to be anti-vax.
Just be
we
mindful.
want people to be
mindful.
educated, and we want people to have
Yes.
the choice to choose.
The
And I
choice, be
support
mindful.
whatever choice you make.
Yes.
And I
If
think
you choose
that's
to
what
get
this is all about.
This is all
again.
yes.
Freedom,
Freedom.
freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom to choose.
Yes.
So we appreciate everybody for coming onto the show.
Yeah.
And to sharing your comments with us. I am so sorry if we could not get to them. We do our best. We actually had a lot of comments come in flying in tonight.
Are we going to have Mayor Drinkwine back at the table with us?
I think we probably will at some point in the future, but that's what
And I hope that you guys can convince those other mayors out there to come back for a follow-up, because I think, facing COVID, facing freedoms, facing all this is a mayor subject. I think they all should come back on and talk about how their little cities are facing these.
awesome.
A while back, we had a panel of mayors.
Yes.
on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And we had, I think it was Mayor Pulliam, we had Mayor Hudson,
Yes.
Mayor Drinkwine. I think we were going to have... we were
And Scott
actually-
Kaiser was supposed to be there. But
yes.
we didn't get
So
him.
Scott, we're still calling you out.
But
We're
we
calling
need,
you up.
Still didn't
we
make
need
it
him
out.
on here. We
Yes.
need him on here.
Mayor Scott Kaiser, you're
Yes.
formally invited onto the show.
Yeah.
We can get you in the slotted in there. Just reach out. You know how to reach us. We'll get
Have
you
your
slotted
people
in.
call our people.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
it.
get you
That's
slotted
it.
into one of the things. We actually have guests lined up for quite a while.
Yes.
So, but we can get you slotted in there. But yeah, we would love to have, and I think it would be great. Maybe sometime around maybe the beginning of the year to kick off the year to try to get another mayor
That's
panel up
it.
here.
New year.
Yes.
So,
New
Yeah.
invigorated mayors. I like that.
We are so
And,
grateful
so-
for you.
you know,
Well, we
also,
appreciate you guys. I thank you guys for having me on the show.
Yes.
I mean, it's
Definitely,
really great to
definitely.
get out there and actually be able to talk to people when I'm not sitting in a room expected to say one thing or the other. I can just be free
Yes.
to speak.
Yep.
You know, about the things that mean something to all of us.
That's awesome.
So that's great. I appreciate that.
And you are involved in the circles.
Yes.
The little tiny circle.
Oh yes, I have to be in the circle.
Okay.
No,
You
no,
find out what that
your
is later.
circle.
So I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I want to give away a set of these the Constitution.
Yes.
So you got the Constitution. You've got the Declaration of Independence, and it actually has the Bill of Rights and the other amendments in here. It's all four of them.
Oh wow.
And they come in a single pack. And I want to find a way to give away to somebody. But my thoughts are is one, I'm trying to figure out if we should do this where they can email us in their information from the show from watching it here, and maybe in the next week or two we'll give them a little bit of time to do it, or maybe next week we'll announce it. But you know, I'm wondering if let's just say that.
Well, I got an idea.
Yeah, what you got?
You know, since people are most computer savvy, why don't you have everybody write in their statement on what freedom means to them? And we'll go over, because that's what the show is really all about.
That's
right?
good. Yes, it
So,
is.
and we'll go over the applicants and the best little saying for freedom.
What freedom means to
When's
you.
it? Yeah. What's
What
freedom
freedom
mean to
means
you?
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I absolutely love it. And then you know we'll post it up on our website and I'll post it on the Facebook.
And we got an endorsement from Brandy.
Sure.
She
Yeah.
said
Yes, that's what you need. That's what you need.
We can hear our crew on the other side.
I love that they talk back to us.
And we get to read it live on the show.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
So, he knows.
Yes.
Maybe we'll invite them onto the show in order to.
There you go.
Ooh.
There you go.
So yeah,
Get an invite and a
that worked out.
constitution.
So, you can reach us at backwoodsbrothersllc@gmail.com. You can also go to our website and get that information and email us from there as well.
Yes.
Take a minute, write out what you think freedom means to you, and then send it on into us, and then we'll have it something selected by next week, and then the winner we'll send them one of these sets.
Yeah,
And
I like that.
Actually, I want to add one more thing too. You also get. Oh, you know what? Tom Cruise is calling. Okay. You also get a free merch too, and I will buy a free merch for you. So look on the Backwoods Brothers website, and you will see our merch on there. And we would love to have you pick one up.
Yes, please, and support the
Or
show
2 or 3.
By liking, subscribing. Please go on, check out our merchandise, see what we got there. Maybe pick up some merchandise.
Ooh, he's calling back.
Pick up some merchandise, and just kind of help share us around and kind of get more people involved in the show.
One more thing too. Thank you for all of our sponsors as well.
Definitely, yes. We have Whitney Signs as a sponsor. We have the Hitchin Post down here as a sponsor.
Yes.
We also I think that's what we got for our main sponsors right now. We have a couple other ones out there.
Yeah.
Check
out
our
Whitney
website. They
Signs.
actually have their sponsors where they're all at.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
and just know, guys, any way you can support this show. I mean, they handle a lot of controversial issues and things that you all want to know about. So I think that any way you can help them out, chime into the show. Be a part of it. It's really great.
Invite a friend.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
okay, now that Mayor Drinkwine is done with his phone call.
Yeah. It never ends. It never
You're
ends.
working in season and out of season. There you
Okay,
go.
guys. Well, we really
On the
appreciate you
show.
guys, and we're going to go ahead and say thank you. And always remember, start a conversation.
That's right.
Doggy.